Don't tell Hermès I said that. Oh no! Greetings, luxe lovers, welcome back. Here we believe in intentional luxury and we're not afraid to invest in pieces that will work for us. So if that resonates with you, then please consider subscribing and stay a while. So I'm admittedly late to the game on this one, but my best laid plans to be one of the first to try out these items was totally sidelined by a bad bout of food poisoning while on vacation. But better late than never, I always say. So today I'm going to share what just got delivered to me, and I'll share what I picked up from the surprisingly controversial Louis Vuitton beauty line launch. And I'll compare these to my favorite Hermès beauty products, so you can see if this new Louis Vuitton beauty line is right for you. So get ready for some unboxings, swatches, and comparisons. And I'm even going to try to jailbreak these lipsticks for you so that you're not reliant on the main lipstick holder for those who just can't justify the $160 price point. So grab that fancy Hermès mug of tea and let's begin. Alright, so here is my package. I was actually on vacation in Washington, D.C. and I thought I could just go to the D.C. Louis Vuitton store and pick these up on the day of launch, but it didn't go to that store. So I did get a send sale from my essay in the New York City flagship. And because of that reason, I got less than what I wanted to get because I couldn't physically try them on. And first we have to address the elephant in the room. There have been a ton of videos about the exorbitant price point of these. And yes, while I agree, I always do say I'm not afraid to invest if I really think I'm going to use these. So I took one for the team and I bought some of these without even trying them on in hopes that they'll work out. But also, I was in the beauty industry for many years, so of course I'm going to try this out as it's something that's near and dear to my heart. And I'm a huge Pat McGrath fan. I'll put a picture of me and Pat hanging out over here. I met her through a Sephora meet and greet back in the day. She is just so cool, and I just really wanted to support her in this new endeavor. So let's see what I got. Here is what came into this little bag. First, I did get an eyeshadow quad, and it is the Beige Memento. This is probably the most neutral, lightest of all of the palettes. Again, I wasn't able to try it on, but for me, I was looking for an everyday kind of a wear. So it has beautiful packaging. The first thing I'm noticing is that in 6 months, they recommend replacing these. And that's a hard pill to swallow at this price point. Then I got this. This is a lip balm in the color Rose Essentiel. I just wanted a basic. And let's see what else came. I mean, I'm not showing you anything you haven't seen already. I think off the bat, I can see that I didn't get any samples, and I'm kind of bummed. I think if you ordered it from the website, you got samples, but my essay did not send me these. So here is this, what feels like a microfiber cloth. It has one of the LV little fleur-de-lis logos on the back, similar to what you get from Hermès. And here we have another envelope. And here is this beautiful pouch, again, same stamping. And oh, here we go. You can see that it does come with these cool little brushes on the side. And Hermès does actually, I believe, also provide the little brushes on the side. To me, they look very similar. They're just like flat shader brushes. They're cute. And there is a little Louis Vuitton branding on them, so that's nice. And so here we go. We'll open this up. Very pretty. Hopefully you can see the patterns there. Ooh, very shiny. I like this like gold on the inside. It's not the Louis Vuitton orange. I kind of like the white and gold. It's looking good. I'm not gonna say anything that you haven't heard already if you're into these type of reviews, but yes, this is extremely weighty. It has Louis Vuitton Paris. This definitely does feel like plastic. I guess I would have thought it was ceramic, but yeah, it's plastic. But I think they also said it was brass. And so let's open it up. Ooh, look at that. That is super pretty. We can take off the plastic. And that is just so pretty. Look at these colors. Just so you know, this is as far back as the mirror goes, so it's not like a lie flat type situation. But this is a matte. This one is pretty pearly. This looks like a purpley, maybe taupey color, also shimmery. And here's more of a champagne shimmer. I just felt like if I could get the palette that has the most one and done type colors, that would be good for me. So I imagine this will be the brow bone. I imagine this might be crease and then lid, smoky lid. And I feel like if they were smart, they would have kind of branded each of these pans as more of a purpose. Kind of like how Charlotte Tilbury always has like the pop color, the crease color, yada yada. I feel like if Pat helped us interpret these pans, then that might have helped people. But I also could see her not wanting to stifle creativity. Here is the button on the back that kind of should pop it out. Oh, so no sound at all. And this is how far back that goes. It looks like it's spring loaded, so that's pretty cool. You can move it, but yeah, it seems to be magnetic. So that's nice that you can move it. I don't want to like break it. It also looks like this cutout is well cut out to the actual size of the pans, because I was always concerned that there would be like makeup underneath this cutout, but I think you will be able to dig through. But at that point, you're probably due for a new palette anyway. I did want to show the difference between what the Hermès palette looks like and what the Louis Vuitton palette looks like. And I do have to say, arguably, you do get more products with the Louis Vuitton palette. I'd have to compare price for price when it comes to the refill only, because clearly you're paying more for the holder of the Louis Vuitton eyeshadow palette. But I do have to say, I feel like Louis Vuitton accomplished what I always thought the Hermès one should be like. Like, this one is super light. I would say this one is probably 3 times the weight of the Hermès. I just feel like aesthetically, it is just nice to have it look like little petals, or look like the little, what's her face? The little mascot is what it reminds me of, whereas Hermès is just doing its own thing on this side. So because it's a faceless channel, unfortunately, I won't do a try on of the eyeshadows, but I will do some swatches. First, I'll start with this one. And here's what it looks like. It looks very powdery. Everything feels very powdery. And I'm not mad at that, because I don't necessarily want like extreme color payoff. Oh, I think I might have just swatched over one swatch, but let me do the light brown down here. The light brown, just so you know, is like almost the color of my skin. It's so light. But this is actually perfect because I don't want anything too out of the ordinary. Again, I want one and done. The powderiness is of interest to me though, because I feel like that might mean I need a good primer underneath my eyeshadow when I use this palette. I will put it on and just kind of give you the play-by-play. Here is a Sonia G brush. I love this line. All right, little fallout there. I guess that's just gonna change depending on what brand of brush you get, but I love this brush. Again, it's kind of powdery. It's already kind of making a mess, but I'm not mad at it yet. It does hurt my soul a little to have my pan dirty already though. And then I'm going to actually use this same brush and put some of this in my crease. Again, there is a little fallout there. All right, solid crease color. I thought it might be too light, but it looks very natural actually. It just adds a hint of shadow. And then I'm just going to use this. This is actually a really old Smashbox, but I love this like kitten paw brush. And I'm going to go into the gold. No fallout there. Again, it could be the brush. But yeah, that is a solid one and done. Oh yeah, I like that a lot. So, I mean, I'm sighing a little sigh of relief because I spent so much money on this without trying it, but I genuinely like it. I could see a potential for hard panning. Again, it's the only one that didn't have any powder in the pan. I'll try with this one. This is my Hermès brush. A little down here. Let's see what, yeah, so there's a little powder in the pan there. And I'll try a little smoking that out. Okay. What's nice about this is that even though this is a dark, kind of intimidating color, when you put it on, it's like you gotta really build it up. So that's not bad. So that's not bad. Again, sorry that, you know, you can't see the final result, but I have to say I'm really happy with this. This is kind of like my jam in terms of simple colors, and I'm really happy I went with this rather than a more editorial color story. So I will put that in here to protect this baby. But I could actually see myself using this a lot. I am more on a cream shadow kick these days, but I really like this and I think this will travel well. Is it better than other shadows? Not really. If I had to say like it a little better than the color stories available on the Hermès beauty line, don't tell Hermès I said that, but it's Pat McGrath and you can't argue with the queen. So I am totally on board with these shadows. I would suggest if you're really price conscious, try it out before you buy if you can. But I think the formula is really nice. I'm not going to like parties or anything. So this is just enough pigment for me. And also if you can't stomach the price of the main component, I would say buy the refillables and then buy one of those magnetic palettes that is just like a magnet with blank space and you can kind of put them in. If I can find the one I own, I'll put it in the description. But then you can just have really nice Pat McGrath shadows without the cost of that full component. And if you're enjoying yourself so far, I'd love for you to consider subscribing. If you love extreme luxury product close-ups, thoughtful commentary, and Hermès unboxings practically every other week, then you've come to the right place. All right, let's get to the lippy. All right, here we go. Here is my LV Balm in Rose Essentiel. And before I even open this, I wanted to share kind of what my thought process was. I actually brought these two lip balms as inspiration for what I was going after. This is the Rouge Coco Flash line, and I love this line. This one is in the color Boy, and arguably that's like way too brown for me. I've learned my lesson there. But this one I love, and it's in the color Live, and I use this all the time. So I picked Rose Essentiel because I thought it was going to look like this, and if I use this, I figured it would be nice to have a little piece of this collection in a color that I already knew I loved. So let's give it a try. Again, the beautiful raised pattern. Gold interior. Ooh, look at that. The little extra peekaboo logo on the back. Oh no! Oh my gosh, can you guys see that? Oh no. Oh, so I'll backtrack, but I can already see, okay, it's not as bad as I thought. Here you can see that my little lip balm got crushed at the top, and you can see the stain through the window. I thought it was gonna be a lot worse. And just so you guys know, this package took a few times to get to me because it was delivered when I was away. So it just must be that maybe during the transit, maybe it melted or something. But you know what's funny? Michelle Wong also had the same issue. And what's weird is when I put the lipstick back, I can see, oh, maybe this fell out? I don't know. I have zero idea how this happened. Maybe it melted, came out and went back in, because when I put it in, it looks like there's about this much space between the top and the actual tip of the lip balm. Oh, that's a bummer. But other than that, I mean, it looks normal otherwise, and there's no LV embossing because it's like flush to the tube in the inside. Again, we see the release. We have the logo on the bottom, and let's just put it on. I'm not bothered, I'm just bummed. I thought it was gonna be totally squished, but here we go. And before I start, I have to say, I thought this was gonna be heavier based on what people were going on about. So let's see what it looks like on me. Interesting. So you can definitely see on my lips, this is a way more pigmented lip balm than I was expecting. So I would definitely say prepare yourself for that. I do feel it. It is more waxy than, say, the Chanel. And in fact, I'm going to swatch this next to the Chanel. So here is the LV. And I like waxy typically. In fact, that's why I like the Hermès. But I think when I was thinking about a lip balm, I wanted something a little more silky. I do smell it, and here is what Live looks like. And then here is what, so again, here is Louis Vuitton, and here is Chanel. And then I'll show you what I was going for with these two. Certainly, I guess the Chanel looks more purpley. And it also has a lot more shimmer to it. And I don't know, guys. It could be that my lips aren't as exfoliated, but I don't know, jury's out. I kind of feel the lip balm on my lips, and I'm not a huge fan of that, but I do like waxy. It could also just be that maybe my lip balm is compromised due to the heat. I wonder if I would have liked the more nude one, whereas I thought the nude would make me look really bland. I don't know, what do you guys think? But I would almost put it in the category of like a lipstick. And in fact, I brought another shade. This is the Hermès Skinny Formula Brilliant. I almost feel like this could be similar. Look at that. So this is the Hermès. I feel like even the Hermès Brilliant formula is more sheer than the LV lip balm. Interesting. So I would say if you like color payoff, definitely go with the LV. Try them on, because I am surprised. I feel like a lot of the reviews I saw were saying how surprised everyone was at how pink or red it was, so just be aware. As for the lipsticks, I definitely did want to buy a lipstick, but because I couldn't go in to try them on, I withheld from purchasing any because I didn't want to make any costly mistakes. And I also really wanted some of the SLGs, but they didn't have them in store, or at least the ones I wanted. So I'm gonna wait to see when they get restocked. But stay tuned for when those come in. And then the last thing I wanted to look at was of whether or not I could hack the component of the Louis Vuitton lipstick to basically jailbreak it and not make us constrained by having to buy such an expensive package piece. I also brought, again, this is the $195 Chanel lipstick, the 31 Rouge. And then this is one of my Hermès lipsticks, and I just wanted to show what their components are like for refillability. So here you can see, so the thing that twists the Chanel lipstick is like on the inside, and I'm such a geek. You can take some tweezers and physically twist it up. If you twist that little wheel at the bottom, you can twist the lipsticks up, but who wants to do that every day? And it does look like Chanel's is specific to this, so you can't like swap it out for another component. Here's the Hermès one, where you just take it out, and Hermès kind of has the bottom like this, but then you can see it has this perforated part, and you can see that you can actually twist it up. So good to know that with the Hermès ones, there's no tweezers required. So now that we've done all of that research, let's see what the Louis Vuitton ones are like. So here we go. Ooh, so you can see that the Louis Vuitton has this fleur-de-lis, and then you can see that in the inside here, there is like the fleur-de-lis on the inside so that the bottom fits into that, and that's how it twists. However, I don't think you need... Oh my gosh, guys, you don't need the component part to use these lipsticks. You just really need to rotate this bottom. So there you go. I don't actually know what the refills look like to come just as refills, but if there's a cap, don't think you can't have a piece of Louis Vuitton if you don't have this like $100 piece. So that is news you can use. So for my final thoughts, I actually am a big fan of the eyeshadow palette. I'm okay with my choice with the lip balm. I think I might want to try on the more nude one. And again, I wish I waited to try these on to get a sense of what the formula is like. However, I'm glad I have it. Will I use it? Sure, because as you can see, I'm a bit of a collector of luxury beauty. But I've also learned my lesson from the Chanel unboxing that I only want to use colors that I will use on the regular, not like editorial colors. So I hope you got some value out of this. At least you can save yourself some money knowing how to use these items without the component parts. So thank you to those who've stayed with me to the end. Let us know in the comments what you've picked up from this drop. I welcome you to follow me on Instagram if you'd like to see more of how I style these items in my day-to-day and other luxury moments. If you've enjoyed this video, I invite you to go down the rabbit hole that is my luxury beauty playlist, and I'll put that link here. Please like it if you liked it, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!